It's the day we've been waiting for, Travers Day, and it looks like the weather in Saratoga is actually going to be okay. Prayers up to everybody in Louisiana and Hurricane Ida and all that. Wishing you all the best, anybody who's having to deal with that kind of stuff today. So yeah, we get into some horse racing, and it's a busy day. 13 races, not a bad day yesterday. A couple of the watch list horses were okay. So I've got a couple more today, and we'll start here in race number 2. Race number 2, looking at a field going 6 furlongs. I know there's so many graded stakes races today, and I'm looking at a maiden allowance for 2-year-olds. But this is where the future stars come out of. The watch list horse, now there's major cautions here with the 4 Hoist the Gold. This start was pretty good. He took money, went off at 4-1. For a Dallas Stewart first-time starter, I thought that was pretty good with Saez riding. He hit the gate and then was just wide throughout. It was kind of one of these sluggish starts on his part. We'll take a look here. He is number 5. So you can just judge for yourself. It's just he's a little step slow, and then he does brush the gate. And then what he does after that, you see where he is right now. This is where he stays the entire race. He literally races that wide the entire race. I don't know. I thought the start was okay. It wasn't very professional. The speed figure came back a little light. He's maybe exposed himself, and there are some first-time starters in here that deserve some looks. So Saez defects from Hoist the Gold, which also isn't a good sign, and rides Steinbeck for Todd Pletcher. Now, Saez and Pletcher, you know, this has not been a bad teaming in the last couple of years. So 2-year-old, first-time starters. So Todd's stats with that, just 2-year-old first-time starters, he's 22% wins. The ROI is low, $1.61. But when we look at with Luis Saez riding, it's not that the percentage goes up. So it's 22%, so it actually goes down. He's 10 for 49, but the ROI goes way up. So when an Ortiz isn't riding a first-time starter for Pletcher, you're definitely getting better odds, and the production's there. So I thought Steinbeck was interesting. There's a couple of works there that look pretty good. This is a quick work for a Todd horse, right? 47 and change from the gate, breezing. This Wesley Ward horse, I mean, for him to be 10-1 morning line, can't have much ability, right? The 5 Jack Christopher, I suppose, is going to take a lot of money. There's not a lot going on in the pedigree here, and it wasn't a super fancy purchase, at least immediate pedigree. So we'll see. I was a little bit more interested in the Todd horse, and the other one, the Steve Asmussen horse, this Dr. Perry. They paid a lot of money for this horse, and there's a big work there, 47 from the gate. So 3 gate works to start out. He must have been a little bit sluggish, but it looks like they figured things out there. So an interesting race number 2. I'll put the 4 Hoist the Gold underneath the other horses I talked about, the 2, the 5 and the 7. And see if we can't get a little bit of an exacta play going early in the card. Race number 6, another watch list horse. This horse will be on everybody's watch list. This is a turf sprint, 5.5 furlongs. It's the 7 horse Colton's Command. He was blocked his last start, but I'm wondering how much of that was a counterfeit block. Counterfeit block makes sense to me. So the 6 horse Charmed. I'll just take a look at the start here. Because I thought that was interesting too. So Charm's the 1 horse, Colton's Command is the 2 horse, and we'll watch what happens in a rather entertaining start with the 1 Charms. You're going to actually see I can't believe that Santana stayed on. He is such a good jockey. I really enjoy him. Just look at that again. Like, the horse made a bad stumble and he almost fell off, lost an iron. Then gets pushed out of the way, because when things are going bad, that's what happens. And we see Colton's Command here. So he's the 2. Now he's going to be in a lot of trip note handicappers lists. And he got onto mine. He got on the watch list because he did get blocked after here. But you can't expect to get out if this is the path that you're taking. And down on the inside, saving ground. I don't know that he ran that well, quite honestly. You know, we'll get to the nitty gritty here as long as I don't miss it. So he's never gonna, you know, he's looking for room. He's the purple guy with the blaze here, bouncing off horses. I don't know. I thought that Charmed actually probably ran a better race of the 2 of them. So he's back in here. Again, this is a race that I'm going to take about 2 or 3 and mess around with them in exactas. Charmed's getting on the ticket after that start. I thought that was impressive. He's been working well since then. Colton's Command, although I don't know how much of that was his own fault. Everyone's been dumping on poor Junior Alvarado. He's just, you know, sometimes stuff happens, and Rosario, right? Anyways, whatever it is, I guess we'll give the horse a chance. Shiraz probably makes the most sense out of everybody, so it'll be those three in there, the 6, 7, and the 9 for me in race number 6. Couple more I'll touch on, some stake races. Well, yes, we'll get into some stakes. The 8th race, the Forgo. I really like Whitmore in here. So Mischievous Alex, boy, did he lay an egg in the Vanderbilt. Most of these ran against each other last time. The Vanderbilt, he was horrible. Like horrible. I want him to bounce back, but boy, he would have to be a completely different horse than he was last time. I thought Whitmore ran really well. I'm going to take him. I like him at the trip of 7 furlongs. In the Forgo last year, he really didn't get into it at all. He had a wide trip, but then he kind of regrouped and got ready for the sprint. So I suspect they're mapping the same sort of plan for him to head towards the Breeders' Cup. He's a nice horse, and when things work out, they work out. I thought he ran really well here to finish 3rd. So Whitmore for me, you get Rosario riding. Santana, of course, is going to ride Yaupon, who I like. Lexingtonian, this was his big race. I'm against him today. He beat a nice field. He was 34-1. That was his big race right there, I think. Mind Control, I'll probably play him a little bit. So Whitmore, Mind Control, Yaupon. I don't know, he has to improve. He has to continue to improve, and that's not easy. He may have already shown us what he is, and if this is all he is, that's not going to be quite enough. Firenze Fire, I wanted to play him too, but much like Mischievous Alex, I don't know. I don't think this start was that good. He maybe had a little bit of trouble, but I'm not going to make too many excuses for him. He's never really excelled at Saratoga for some strange reason. And the Travers, I'm going to play the 1 Midnight Bourbon just because I have to find an alternative to Essential Quality. To me, he's just been Johnny Opportunist. He's a good horse. He gets himself in the right spot, and that's why he doesn't get into trouble. Saez fits him perfectly. He just always seems to be where he needs to be. But I think Midnight Bourbon, all things being equal, might be able to turn the tables on that one. Certainly he has to improve. Again, if this is all he is, but they're 3-year-olds and they can vastly change from start to start. Once a horse is about 5, I think you've seen a lot of horses. Once they're 4, I think you've seen what they are. So, but I'll play 1, 2. Obviously the 2 Essential Quality is the one to beat, but I just can't get that chalky. He's going to be a heavy favorite for sure. Okay, that's it. Kind of long today. So races start early today too, so don't miss out. The first one kicks off at 11:35. So have an excellent Travers day, and we will regroup and come back tomorrow.